there, thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 here in the Southwest, ending with Team 2 in the Northeast. I am going to probably flip those at one point or another, so just telling you guys ahead of time that I probably will flip them around. But again, Team 1 is in the Southwest, Team 2 is in the Northeast, and it is a 6v6. And with 12 players to introduce, I'm going to slow it down just a little bit so we have enough time to cover that early action. Starting up for the rear guard, air slot hit for Team 1. It is Book of Guns, not Box of Guns. I used to call him Box for some reason. I don't know, that K there kind of looked like an X, but he is Book of Guns going first land as a UEF. He is a 1200 in forest green, and that is the best color and faction combination in the game. Definitely not no bias in that regard. Here in the East is Extractor going first land as a Cybern in light oak tan. He is an 1800 going first land. In Tropical Ocean Blue to the north, it is Godzilla Potato going first land as an Aeon. He is an 1800 going first land. In Stitch Blue to the west, we have the Aeon player of Terraria going first land. He is a 2500, the highest ranked player on Team 1 and in the game overall. So expect to see big plays coming out of him. And to his north, a 2000 rated player in Imperial Gray. It is Arima going first land. And again, he is a 2000 in Imperial Gray. And the last player here for Team 1, blending in with his environment, it is the Chevy Crimson player of Pepe's going first land as a Cybern as a 1400 rated. So for Team 1 side of the map and lineup, we have 2 Aeon, 2 Cyberns, 1 UEF, and 1 Seraphim. All of the races are represented here for Team 1. Starting off here with Team 2 in the northeastern section of the map, it is in the rear guard air slot, literal going first air as a Cybern in Batman Gray. He is a 1600. Moving on to the western side of things here for Team 2, it is Dreamer Lazy going first land, second air. He is an 1700 and he is in Rust. To his southeast in Regal Purple, we have Insidious Noob going first land as a Seraphim. He is an 1800. And he is going first land. In the middle of Team 2's lineup, we have the Pac-Man yellow player already on the move. It is Battlefront going first land. Yep, it was first land. He is a 2000 rated player, the highest ranked player on Team 2. And again, he is in Pac-Man yellow. And next to him in glow-in-the-dark green, it is Saizon going first, second, and third land. As a UEF, he is an 1800. And in the eastern side of the map here for Team 2, also on the move here, it is the color orange player of Nightly going first land and probably second air. Just maybe this is just doing a spam template formation. Actually, he stops doing that, but again, he is going first land in orange, the color orange at a 1700 rating. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 1, 2, 3 UEF, 2 Cyberns, and 1 Seraphim, which means they do not have access to Aeon technology. So no Aurora, no Donuts, no Colossus, and no what's another guy? No Harbingers as well. That's a large build over here for somebody on, I think that was Team 2 I was hovering over. Again, that glitch is still going on. Very annoying. I don't need that information, at least on my screen at all times. So again, if anybody knows of a way to fix the glitch, please let me know down in the comments. It's, again, in that instance, it's very egregious where it's, half of my screen is taken up. But sometimes when it's only one, it's not that bad. But it is still annoying at the end of the day. And at almost 3 minutes in this game, let's take a look at Reclaim before our players scoop it all up. 30,000 reclaim for 12 players, which means it's about 2,500 mass per player. That is a ton of master scoop up here in this game, and most of it is in the middle of the map, at least in the cut down the middle of the map. We do see a lot of short portions of 14, 26, 3,000, actually dual, obviously 3,000 in the middle for it being even on both sides of the map. There are already comms in that direction trying to get that reclaim before their opponents. So let's briefly go over the mass points and check out on that action. There is not really a lot of double, triple, quadruple, quintuple mechs here on this map. There's a lot of one-offs. I do see a lot of mechs probably here in the northwest and southeast that are going to be fought over between Team 1 and Team 2. A couple of mechs over here as well. And maybe these ones, maybe. It just depends on how the reclaim shakeup works out here. But there's not really a lot of large, dense groups of mechs besides the ones in the main bases of our players. So let's go ahead and bring this game back up to 0 and check out what the middle is going on. Godzilla Potato leading his team with Terrari behind him, trying to go after Insidious Noob and Battlefront. It does look like Team 1 has traversed the map, at least the middle of the map, and gone for Team 2 side of the reclaim. So that's definitely going to annoy them and force Team 2 to settle things here in their territory, which gives a lot of time for Team 1 to scoop up their side of the map. And we already see an engineer out from Arima doing that, and his combo over here to the west also doing that. And again, a lot of reclaim to scoop up here in this map. 30,000 reclaim. It's going to go to the coffers of somebody. It better be, you know, if I was playing, better be me or my team instead of the other team. But, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. But Team 1's player of Excited pushing very far forward in Team 2's territory. We even have Knightley having to fall back to intercept that comm. Very interesting play, being very, very aggressive and just pushing. Does give a lot of time to, looks like all that mass was essentially scooped up. There is a group of mass that Team 1's Excited wants to deny from Team 2's. That's probably why he's doing that. In the middle here, we have Battlefront still throwing some plasma against Godzilla Potato. We have Insidious has fallen into the high yellows, but is still perfectly fine for now. Battlefront has taken some hits, and Godzilla taking most of the hits in that engagement, and now these comms have fallen back to their side of the map to scoop up their reclaim. We do see in the northwest, Dreamer Lazy doing very similar moves here that Excited was doing in the southeastern corner, but Team 1's Pepe is already on station and producing Team 1 factories. There are a couple of units that got behind Pepe's front line, but he has some Mantis coming in to deal with those as we speak. And those comms still having it out for one another in the middle of the map. Godzilla is still scooping up that mass, not really focusing on taking out a comm, but again, denying reclaim. It happens a lot, especially on Settins, where you just got to deny it. It's giving your opponent a lot of mass to get some T2 upgrades, getting T2 air, that sort of thing. Definitely not what you want to do, especially early on. And, well, why give your opponent mass when you can take it, kind of thing. Lyzalwan has started a gun upgrade, and I guess an Observer Bo Hanak Hakti starting gun. Don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just a duplicated message. Lyzalwan is on the eastern side of Team 2's lineup. You can see he's going and actually has some assistance from Engineer. This will allow Team 2 to push at least on this middle east side. We do see sensor package coming on the way for Godzilla. Not going for speed, not going for range first, going for that sensor package. Going to get him a nice amount of vision here in the middle of the map. He'll probably transition to Aeon Sniper Comm later, but for the early bits of the game, he wants to go for that more intelligence gathering, which I am always in favor of, because the more you know, the more you can prepare for it. It just looks like Bohana Kakti just has a duplicating message going on here for observers, I guess. I don't know why, it just is. No ideas. We do see Pepe standing strong, just kind of hanging on here. And Team 2 is a Dream Lazy going for his T2 upgrade on board that chassis. He is a Cybran. So he's going to get some tickle cannons online here. That gun upgrade about to finish. Sensor package about to finish as well. T2 coming on the way here for Terrari. And we see T2 on the way here for Battlefront. So UEF versus Aeon. Definitely side with the UEF in that regard. A little more tanky. Except for missiles. Definitely side with the Aeon in that regard. T2 on the north here for Insidious. He is Seraphim. So, I mean, the shields are really good. So I'll give him that. TMD isn't bad. It's not the best, but it's definitely better than like a buzzkill. So there's that. And then goes the upgrade here for range. We'll actually watch as the fanning out of the vision goes. We actually caught it at the last second, so we saw a little bit of that expansion. But this is the range that he can see. And unless somebody has cloaking, actually he has an Omni sensor on board, so actually no, cloaking would not work. Yeah, I think that's the Omni sensor as well, because it does say it on board his commander, so I would assume that is the full range of the Omni. So even if you have cloaking, it's not really going to work. And advanced range immediately started after that range upgrade here for Godzilla. He wants to be very aggressive in using that comm to the fullest extent that he can in terms of the range on board. Yeah, it just looks like that. It's only duplicating. No, it's duplicating both teams, so I don't know. why, but I do apologize for that. I guess somehow it's duplicating. I don't know how that works. If it's only just because this match had a spectator that it duplicates, but I'm definitely not in control of that, obviously, because I can't time travel or whatever the case may be. And my name is not Bo Hanak. And we do see Team 1's Excited has fallen back from this position that he had earlier on. Just goes to show you he was just going for that reclaim, going for a gun upgrade as we see. And Team 2 Saison pushing forward with that UEF commander against Team 1's comm of Godzilla Potatoes forces and structures. We do see he is going for that advanced range upgrade. He wants to keep it online as long as he can and doesn't want to cancel it. We do see Terraria coming in with a couple of overcharges as well to assist. And he will be fine, but he is close to the red, so he has to be very, very careful. He could easily be sniped. And speed and range going down here for Insidious as well. And that force actually not going straight down the middle, but going eastward, trying to cut off Pepe's is on the northwest side of things. Excited's forces here and his supply lines. If this is cut off, he's sandwiched between two Team 2's comms, and that's definitely not the place he wants to be. And that gun will finish. Is it worth the risk? We'll see. Team 1 and Team 2's units are engaging. And tactical missile has been started for Insidious. Man, he is just going for just a lot. Actually, he canceled his nano. Going for tactical missile. He's just upgrading his commander. He's going to be very aggressive with it soon here. And these units are dealt with for the most part. I mean, it's Cybern versus UEF, so it's basically about the same 270 versus 300. So not really a whole lot of difference. Is better than Aurora. And Cybern, where the hit point differences definitely make a difference. T2 coming on the way for Nightly on the eastern side of things. Tactical missile already 66% of the way done. He is just flying through those upgrades. And we do see Team 1's Arima with his gun comm pushing slightly here on this northwestern side here for Team 2's Insidious. He's probably going to move in and intercept after his missile launcher is done. And Pepe's being forced back by some tickle cannons here in the northwest here by Dreamer Lazy. We do see a couple of units here for him, and Godzilla Potato is defeated by Sizalin. Looks like Godzilla Potato fell back, and Sizalin came in and intercepted him. And that is the first kill of the game. Team 1 at 5 players left, Team 2 at 6 players left. And Team 2 has that advantage, and now a lot of momentum going in Team 2's direction. Team 1 went for the aggressive play. We're trying to take out more of the reclaim that Team 2 had on their side of the map, but at this point, at 10.5 minutes, the reclaim, it's almost exactly the same, so don't know if it's really worth it in that regard. We do see Team 1's not Pepe. I keep saying Pepe's because he's the other Cybern player on Team 1. He is trying to push Team 2. That comm will finish his T2 engineering suite upgrade, but he's starting to lose territory, and we'll just immediately go for gun after that. Do see some T2 units online here for Sizon as well. Has some pillars. Would love to see those missile launchers come online here pretty shortly to again push Team 1 back in that regard. Volcanoes definitely will neutralize that, but at least try to attempt enforcing Team 1 back. Because with the momentum that Team 2 Sizon has, he can do a lot of work here and maybe even claim a decent corner of the map, or a decent section, not even a corner, but a section of the map, and maybe even force Excited out of the southeastern side with the assistance of Nightly, especially with that gun and T2 comm online. T3 air has been completed here by Literal in the northeast here for Team 2, and Team 1 also has completed it for Book of Guns. I don't know. I feel like Book of Guns, you can really only fit maybe one, maybe two guns in a book, but Team 1 has killed off Insidious Noob. He went for tactical missile launcher, gun, and I think it was T2. And a Restorer came in and finished him off. Had some ill-sheets here from Arima as well. He's wounded very deeply as well. But that is a counter kill here for Team 1 here in the middle of the map. So Team 2 is now at 5 players left here at 12 minutes in this game. And now we see Dreamer Lazy being not being fallen back, but being pushed back by Pepe's. At least slightly. A couple of PD have been taken out, but he's built more back here. Nice little firebase coming online here for him in that northwestern corner. It is Cybern v. Cybern here in that northwestern corner, and it is Cybern versus UEF, the age-old rivalry here between these two factions. The forces inbound from Sizon coming and poking at Team 1's Excited, and he has to fall back because the last thing he wants to do is be double Team 2 in the southeastern corner. And it has a couple of PD online, but there are some T2 tanks online here for Nightly as well, so those definitely will assist in dealing with those T1 PD at a minimum. And Excited is falling back, building his own fire base here, has a Zapper, E2 TMD, as well as, of course, that gun comm. Almost at 1 veterancy, and Nightly at his first veterancy. And we do see Restorers online here for Team 1's Terrari, and he has gone for air as well. He's actually going dual air here with Book of Guns, so Team 1 has 2 players going for air. Team 2 only has 1 at the current moment. Actually, only been seeing another T2 air, so yeah, only 1. Definitely will give the advantage in that regard. And those Restorers are just getting tons of work done. Team 2 has to divert a lot of attention to mobile and stationary T2 flak just to deal with this Restorer group. And there are Restorers over here to the north. Nightly, I mean, he has some flak in the mix, so he's fine for now, but if Excited does push with his forces and the gunships in the air, it might be enough to force or maybe even get a kill on Nightly here in the southeastern corner. And they are going to go for the comm. They try to go after anything and everything in their path. They're trying to stay on the edge of the engagement, but AA comes in and will force those gunships back. They are going to do some damage to Nightly. They're not as strong in terms of air to ground as they are with the UEF broadsword version of the quote-unquote broadsword. It's the T3 gunship. But, I mean, they still do damage. They got a kill on Team 2's Insidious, so they can do damage. It's just, it's not great damage. Nano has stopped, but is going to be started here for Arima here pretty shortly. And with this attack vector that Team 1's Arima has, he could come in and actually is doing that as we speak with a couple of Ilshis, just kind of edging out that little hillock here. And all these forces here from Team 2's Dreamier has to fall back. Does give a lot of time for Team 1's Pepes to push in on this northwestern side. A couple of PD have already been taken out. TMD trying to be used to deter this, but the tactical missiles do split. And so it makes it very, very annoying to deal with. So even if you kill one of them, some damage still, break on through. And Team 2's Nightly is not falling back. He's at T2 veterancy now and Excited still at 1, but we'll get it probably with the death of this tank. Yep, there he goes, gets his first rank. He still has to fall back, but again, Nightly doesn't really have a lot of forces inbound, has kind of sprinkling of a little bit, couple of tanks, not a lot of AA, has some interceptors nearby, but if this land army falls, Nightly has a long walk back home. And it does look like Nightly, again, is being very aggressive with his commander. Again, has to be very careful, though. Stealth is online here for Excited. He can easily go for Nano if he needs to. He has the first set of upgrades to do that. And Stealth has actually been started by Dreamer Lazy in the north. Looking at the minimap here, Team 2 still putting pressure on Team 1's Terrari, but T3 land very quickly spammed up here for Terrari with his dual base. T3 also online here for Sizolan. And no one else has gone for T3 air except for the air slot player of Literal. Another T3 online here. They're producing some Optims. I can see maybe a push down here, avoiding the comm to the west and going straight down the middle here where this wall section is. And bombers are inbound, going after T1 PD, I would assume, or some T1 Mechs or something, or even some TMD. I don't know what they're going for, but ASFs come in, take out the first little wave. They're going after engineers, question mark? I guess they went after a couple of engineers. Didn't really know where they were going with that, but pew 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 says Excited. And don't know what that's in reference to, but Nightly's forces have punched through that defensive line, but also have suffered a lot of casualties here. And a couple of Harbingers, actually one of them is online, maybe that's what Excited is in reference to, and another one is inbound here. So Nightly has to be very careful, overcharges the first one, and is building a radar to get a nice little vision on that, western approach. But Nightly now receiving fire from behind, and again will have to be forced back once again. It's a very back and forth here. It'd be very interesting, but if Excited produces some of those fire beetles and rushes the comm, he actually could get a kill. He builds, I think it's 4 of them. He can probably get a kill on Nightly. It's 3 or 4. It's something like that. I can't remember how many fire beetles it takes. He has T2. And he's at 4 veterancy, so maybe it's like 5 or 6. I don't remember what the ratio is. Somebody who is more familiar with fire beetles probably knows the answer to that, but it's not a lot. but it is probably like half a dozen or so at roughly a minimum. Gun speed and range going down here in the north for Dreamer Lazy. He has stealth on board. And Pepe is moving forward with his stealth commander. Actually, that's team 1. Team 2 does not see him. Does see him now for a brief second, and then we'll lose him due to the vision. If he gets cloaking, they'll lose him for a while. Unless there's an Omni Sensor online, which there isn't here for Team 2. Team 1 has an Omni Sensor online, so no nasty little cloaking, at least in the middle of the map. Titan coming in, taking out some T1 engineers and Mexes. There is another lineup of units inbound here from this western side for... who is that? I think that's for Battlefront. Yeah, Saizawan does not have control over this. It looks like it is a Battlefront. But again, the yellow and the glow-in-the-dark green, when they're next to each other like that, because they're very similar hues, they look the same. Like brief, like kind of glance, like, oh, that's the same color. It's not, but it is. It does not help, obviously, that there are a couple of Battlefront units right next to him. Definitely doesn't help the situation, but still is the way of the game. And Excited and Knightley still having some words here. Harbinger comes in, gets immediately wrecked by some Titans. And I think it's time for Team 1's Terrari. If he's going to bring in forces, bring them in over the hillock here, and then group them up and then attack, not just send one after the other. Team 2's Knightley has built enough to be able to really just defend against a couple of T3 units. And Harbingers, my opinion, are the weakest of the T3 bots in terms of the heavy assault bot. Because you got the Bricks for the Cyberns, you got the Perseus for the UEF, and you have the Othams for the Seraphim. And okay, to be fair, the Otham is not necessarily a bot, it's a tank, as evidenced by the siege tank. But I mean, you're talking about 4,700 hit points, but it's tanky, obviously, and it has a nice amount of firepower. You have the Brick, which is an assault bot, 7,500 hit points, and is also tanky. Don't know why it's not a tank, but because it walks, that's why it's called a bot. You have the Percy, which is similar in hit points and has a lot of damage. High alpha damage is what I call it. I don't know if it's called that in the game, but with other games that do very similar mechanics of a lot of the damage comes out at the onset instead of just continuously, that's what they call alpha, because it's the first. Anyway, and we should see some. Yeah, Percy's actually have 7,200 health. Okay, and the Bricks have 75, so a little bit less. And then Harbinger, 4,600, including the shield. I mean, it again has the engineering suite on board, so that makes a difference, especially for reclaiming. But in terms of firepower, nah, I would not pick Percy. Not pick Percy. I would not pick Harbinger at any means. But Excited now having some sort of a brick wall to support him as he continues pushing in. Knightley has a shield on board. That's 19,000 hit points on top of his max 19,000 hit points on his commander. So that's 38,000 and some change. So that's a ton of hit points to chew through. Team 1 on this northwestern side, southwestern side, couple of air facilities, nice being plumped out. We see quantum gateways gating into some of those RASCOMs, at least sooner rather than later. Team 1's air player of Book of Guns trying to scale his eco. Team 2's air player doesn't have as much of an air grid. Don't know what he's really focused on. I don't know if he's been gifting units over or not. Reducing a nice group of Othams underneath some shield coverage versus another group of Othams underneath shield coverage. And there are some flak and lightning tanks in the mix here. I don't see any lightning tanks here. Oh, there's one right here. And another one right there, but that one's taking some hits. And in the northwest, still a big back and forth here. They're kind of just having some words here between those two Sovereign players. Almost at 3 veterancy and halfway to 2 veterancy. Dreamer going for Nano. He can wrap up his hit points a lot quicker. And Team 1's Excited has made some progress here on the southeastern side. But again, Knightley has 38,000 hit points to die, or not to die, to be whittled out, to be killed. And Excited only has 16,800. And is at 42 hit points a second without Nano. So it's as long as he gets Nano, he should be up to 100. That's definitely the advantage of the Cyberns and the Seraphim. They have lots and lots of hit point regen, especially when you have the experimental ACU, as I call it, for the Seraphim commanders. Just crazy, crazy amounts of hit points. Lots of engineers down here. They scooped up a radar Does look like Knightley's moving in that direction, but again, his forces are moving northward, drawing the attention of Excited. These forces, these engineers are just a distraction. Pull Knightley away, focus on the T3 and other units, and then come back and take him out. I think that's the strategy here that Excited is employing. And nice little wall section going down here. I do love the breaks. Actually, there's no breaks. They're just the way that he's building it. At least for now, the breaks in the wall mess up with the pathing, so it just is annoying for Team 2 to traverse, forcing them to engage on this western side, which is why they have a nice fire base here to obviously engage them with. So do love the strategy out here from Terrari. He has opened his wall section a little bit to allow a couple of units for his teammate of Arima to move in, so he doesn't have to go all the way around. He just has to go straight through. And that wall section actually gifted over to him as well, so he can manage that a lot better. Nano's about to complete here for Dreamer Lazy, and at this stage in the game, I think it's good to cover what's going on overall. About 23 minutes in this game, Team 2 at 1.2k mass per second, Team 1 at 1k mass per second. Team 1 and Team 2 roughly at about 50%. I'd say it slightly goes to Team 2, but slightly. Not by much, but I'd say maybe 5%, if that. Their highest producing players are Literal and Battlefront here for Team 2, and Book of Guns and Terrari here for Team 1. They both have 5 players remaining. They've each taken a loss in that regard. And what's the other thing? I mean, Reclaim isn't super important. Team 1 is getting more outside of the Reclaim than Team 2. But at this stage in the game, a couple 10 or so thousand isn't really that important. The overall mass totals are what's more important. You can see Team 2 is pulling away in that regard just ever so slightly. But again, if you've been enjoying the cast so far, please like and comment down below what your favorite moment has been and who you think is going to currently win. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video with your friends. And again, thank you so much for being patient with me. I know last week I had some video issues with the quality. I appreciate everyone being patient with me as I fixed those and worked on those. Again, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I really do. And it would help if I had remembered what all the settings were, and it would have been fixed a lot sooner. But you know, I look at it and it looks fine, but on a different device, on a different screen, it looks different. And soon I'll start recording in 4K as well, so that might be a slight adjustment that I have to play with as well. So just a fair warning for those that have watched this point in this particular video. I am going to be recording in 4K, probably, like I said, a couple of videos, so 2 or 3, you should see that change. So hopefully that'll make all of the quality issues go away, and no matter what kind of screen you have, it's easy to watch. We do see a group of restorers here. Looks like they're going after the comm, or at least moving in to intercept that army here. I don't see a lot of air units or a lot of air defenses. We do see some ASFs coming in, and of course the gunships for the Aeon, designed to take out ASF and other air units. They can still be ripped to shreds though by those missiles from those other ASFs here from Team 2, but they do make a difference. In Team 1, looks like they've lost all those gunships, but the ASF coming in from Team 1's other air player, Book of Guns, come in, and they're getting a ton of work done. They're going after the gunships here, the broadswords designed to take out ground targets, and there they go. The air has been won by Team 1. There are some ASFs in reserve here for Literal, but that is huge here for them. Does look like there are a couple of ASFs still online. And T3AA being spammed up to try to deter those gunships from moving in closer. The gunships for the T3 UEF do have some AA capabilities on board, but they're very, very weak. So definitely do not rely on them. It's something, but that something is not a lot. And T1AA being spammed up very quickly to deal with that. They'll almost take out a second gunship, and some flak mobile, some skyboxes are being built again to deal with the gunships. Considering they like to sit there and kind of hang out and shoot at you from above. Nice group of units here from Team 2's Battlefront, moving in to intercept and try to go after some T3 mechs here. Oh, they do barely make their way around that wall section. We do see Harmagers coming in to try to deal with that. They have been slowed down. The Harmagers will be able to catch up eventually. Those Percies are kind of slow, to be fair. They'll be able to catch up. But Team 1's Excited still pushing on the southeastern side. We have Knightley almost at 5-star veterancy. He's in the water for now to hide away from those gunships. And Team 1 has done a great job grabbing air control for this game at 26 minutes. And we have some offense being used for defensive measures. I do find it interesting that they have dual rapid-fire cannons and then a secondary cannon that fires on the top. It's that big one that kind of arcs out to the right or left, depending on how you're looking at it. Kind of reminds me of the chicken, where it has triple, like there's one different gun for both arms, and then the head has its own gun. I think that's kind of the logical step, I guess, in that sort of weapons platforms. Again, Excited pushing forward. Does have Nano on board and is at 5-star veterancy, so 108 hit points a second. Percy's starting to intermix here with Knightley's army. And again, Excited is dropping hit points, but again, can rep up 100 hit points a second. So the longer it takes Team 2 to defeat Excited, the longer it takes for firepower to reach him, the more he can regen. But he's being body blocked by a couple of his own engineers, and Bricks coming in to intercept those Percys as well. And Knightley still pushing forward again, now almost at 5-star. There he is, 21,000 hit points on that commander for a nice even total of 40,000 with the shields. And we have T1, T2, and some T3 units inbound here on this western side of a team. Well, sorry, northern side of this side of the map. Some engineers have been called to reclaim the wall section so they can move, but Harbinger's coming in to intercept those units as they engage. Some Percys did break through, but the supply lines will be perfectly fine here for Excited. He has fallen back, and we do see some units grouping up here from Team 2's Knightley coming in to intercept those Harbingers, but there are restorers nearby as well, and there's a lot of pressure going down here from Team 1. Team 2 has noticed that slightly, and they've made a lot of progress here on this western side of the middle for Battlefront, pushing in on this western edge here where Team 1's Pepe's is. Again, if this there is a chicken, to be fair, so that's not very healthy, but if this section of the map falls here for Team 1, Pepe's is completely surrounded. Broadswords are over here. They're going to be pulled back immediately because there's really nothing to go after, and there's other threats down here. We do see those restorers pushing this front line here in the east. And there are some units here for Battlefront to help defend Sizalin. Sizalin has retreated to his main base. Battlefront doing the same. 28 minutes. It is a little late to retreat for some strat snipes or whatever the case may be, but it's still a good time to retreat, but especially before 30 minutes, roughly about 20, 25, but definitely before 30 minutes you got to retreat and need some shield coverage near your main base, because last thing you want to be is be overwhelmed by some experimentals and die. Last thing you want to do. Well, one of the last things you want to do in that regard. And that army is being pushed back a little bit. They look like they were going to engage over here and then kept going south. And then the army here for Pepe's and Orima moving in and grouping up. That chicken is online here for Orima as well. So both of these commanders have some experimentals to boot. A couple of bricks come in on this northern side, go after the T2 mechs and another T2 mechs, but Pepe's moving in to intercept those as we speak. And it looks like Pepe's will just have to retreat due to the amount of firepower coming out of Team 2's Cyber player of Dreamer Lazy in the north. And Knightley's still pushing in, gains some territory back, but we see some artillery coming in. Oh, that's going to hurt. Takes out almost another Percy. And I think that's a T2 stationary Gunther fire, but I thought I saw, yep, there are some trebuchets as well. But it is forcing him back in that regard. You can see the artillery back here. Have a slightly better range than the mobile, but again, it's the whole utility versus firepower thing, where it's, oh, I can move it around and place it where I want, versus, oh, it does more damage and has better range kind of thing. That's obviously the trade-off. In most things, it's either damage or health or speed and health, or whatever the case may be. And those Harbingers are moving in. Again, I said that they were the weakest of the T3 assault bot, but they can move pretty quick, to be fair. And again, their shields can regen as well. They get 30 hit points a second for the regen on the shield. So if they don't get killed off, they can come back to back you. That's another 1,000 hit points to chew through. The Percy trying to catch up is able to take out a Percy, but a Harbinger, but it takes a couple of shots, and Percy's coming in here from the front lines here for Dreamer Lazy. That we're going to go to that front line here against Team 1. Player of Excited have to fall back And we see the Harbingers getting into the main base, going after the Engineers who are building defenses as we speak. A couple of Harbingers have been... Harbingers. A couple of Triads have been built. T3 Pigeon's obviously a good target to take after, especially because it does the volatile explosions. More Percy's coming in from the north here from Psy to assist. T3 Mixes are the next target to take out the not energy, but the mass income here for that player. And maybe they'll get another one. So they're gonna, maybe they'll get a third one. A lot of whalers here on this side of the map as well. So they got 3 T3 Mexes plus a T3 Pigeon. I feel like for that amount of mass spent for those Harbingers, it was definitely worth it. Denied 27 times 3 roughly. So what's that? 81 mass a second. And until those Mexes are fixed or, replaced, that's 81 mass a second that player is not getting. But the massive amounts of units surrounding this chicken, we have some Authans, we have some Bricks, we have some Restorers, we have some Loyalists, we had some Broadswords, they fell back. And ASFs are inbound to take out those Restorers. ASFs come in, but they get goaded a little bit by those lightning tanks, but the Ion Storm ripping through a couple of Team 1's units down there. And the attack here from the east, outbound from Battlefront, has to fall back as well. They just don't have the support on the ground or in the air. They do have some gunships, and those ASFs just going to go for the gunships here, those T2 Renegades. They don't do a lot of damage, but there's a lot of AA, and the fight will occur here over Team 2's bases, and those ASFs are being ripped to shreds. It definitely was not worth it. All of those dead fighters. And I think Team 2 now has air control. I wouldn't say dominance, but, it's close. 141 versus, let's see, what does Team 1 have? Where'd they go? They were here for a second. Only 5 ASFs for a book of guns and a couple of squadrons of Restorers and 48. So Team 2 definitely has air control. Close to dominance. It's pretty close. It's on the edge of dominance in my regard. But laser over the top here for Team 1's Book of Guns. We haven't seen a player die in a while, but we're getting into that T3, T4 stage of either some artillery or nukes or satellites or whatever the case may be. And I don't see any sort of spicy plays. Terrari has, of course, dual base. He's going for Emissary. That's half done. And it does look like that's an SMD, not a launcher. And I think that's it here for Team 1. Team 2, you building anything nasty? Chicken, that's not nasty. Satellite coming online here for Psy. Batport coming online here for Team 2's Nightly. Let's see. Using the Seraphim tech to protect the Cyber tech. Love to see it. Love to see it here from Team 2 sharing technology. And that's really it. I don't see any sort of nastiness that Team 2 is building besides a satellite. And one satellite isn't something to worry about. 4, 5, 12 of them, that's something to worry about. I feel like if some player has built 12 satellites, the game's probably over for the other team. Unless a nuke comes in and wipe all those out. But, anything can happen in FAF. Some player could, misclick or whatever the case may be, and all those units or just all those satellites die or whatever the case may be. An SMD doesn't get rebuilt, that kind of thing. Second satellite is online here for Book of Guns here at 34 minutes. I didn't even notice the second. Where is... Oh, the second one's right here. Didn't even notice it. And lots of engineers supporting the camo of Terrari. He's going for some sort of upgrade, it looks like. And it looks like it's on his main chassis. So it's either a shield or... I think Aeon can get teleporter. Could be teleporter. It is taking a while. Let's look at Terrari's income to see that. No, it's not teleporter. Don't know what he's going for. Let's see. Doesn't tell me here either. That's not helpful, game. I want to know what he's building. Anyway, ASF's on that edge of the map here for Team 2. Laser in the skies online here for them as well. Psy's building a Duke, or soon to be building a Duke as we speak. T3 already gets pinged by Psy. He notices it. It's in the green. And I'm assuming Terrari is going to immediately use that against the counter satellites here from Psy as well. At least that would be my guess. Or the air grid. One of the two. But maybe the satellites first. We'll see. Satellites going after T3 Mechs is actually the main target here for Team 1's Book of Guns. Deny the economy and then go from there. If you don't have any mash, you can't really build with anything. Monkey Online being supported by some Rambo commanders. They have some EMP cannons on board those guns. Very annoying to deal with. And, I mean, even with the firepower here, a couple of tickle cannons aren't going to do a whole lot, but it'll at least annoy Team 2 at a minimum. The Monkey actually being the main target. You can see all that AoE. Pepe's coming in with his commander, going to try to overcharge it. Monkey actually trying to get out of range of that because he definitely doesn't want to be overcharged. And that Monkey actually will die here. Oh, maybe that's... Oh, will the tickle cannons be enough? Overcharge goes in, takes out a ton of hit points on those SACUs. Takes out 13,000 hit points. That definitely would have killed that Monkey Lord. And there goes one of the SACUs pretty shortly. Gets 400 hit points a second though, regen. That's a ton. It is a ton of hit points. Team 2 on this eastern side now has a Fat Boy. Team 1 has to fall back in the face of that. And now there's a Fat Boy that just got taken out in the middle. Maybe it's by missile launcher, whatever the case may be, but that's got to hurt. And another chicken's coming in from the western side of things. 2 chickens are down here for Team 2. A third one also going to fall just due to the sheer number of T3 support on the ground. Lots of lightning tanks coming in. They can target ground units, but they don't do as much damage, of course, because they're not attacking what they normally attack. I mean, they do some damage, but there goes the third chicken here for Team 2. Team 1 did have 2 chickens, so Team 1 definitely got the better end of the stick with that deal. Arbor just coming in for this middle base in, well, the middle of the map here for Team 2. And 36 minutes in this game. And Fat Boy pressuring this attack vector here for Team 1. Team 1's Calm of Excited has fallen back. He could go for cloaking. Pepe's is actually going for cloaking underneath his base. And those SACUs still being very annoying. But the Monkey Lord did get back. He's repping up 35 hit points a second. I mean, it might as well just control K that and build another one. But he's building a crab, so, I mean, maybe? But you definitely have the mass for the crab if you kill him off the monkey. But 3 lasers over the top, of course, going after the emitters, the shield generators here for Psy. Trying to take out the defenses here and go after that satellite. He's going over here first for the P-gens. He wants to deny the power reserves that Team 2 has. But the artillery has been finished off, and the second one is being built. Where is it going? And yes, it is going for that Novak satellite. Team 1's Terrari is either annoyed by it because it's firing at him or because of some other reason. But the shields are starting to fall, and the emitters are the targets because if you don't have a thing to project the shield, you don't have a shield. Another emitter is down, and the satellite is exposed. Nice direct shot on that Novax and kills it in one shot. Ooh, ouch. And Sai makes a comment to move the fatty units coming in from the north and now the south. They split up and are trying to pincer maneuver that experimental T2 parashields coming online to defend. Are going to be able to take out some of the incoming shots. But the shields don't last very long. Team 2's Nightly probably will lose it. Like there's a couple of units down here. But is falling into the yellow. The bricks aren't chasing it as much. And the Percys with the ton of parashields are able to stave off that incoming threat. That Fat Boy will live to see another day. But just barely. But barely is just enough. Of course, the whole thing with horseshoes and hand grenades and that sort of thing. And satellites are taking out the P-gens now here for Psy. He's not necessarily been knocked out, but with the satellite down, the Duke he was building also knocked out. Team 2 doesn't have any long-range tech to really fight back against Team 1 now. They are building a couple of strap bombers. That's not a couple. That's a lot. That's what that is. That is actually 2 squadrons. That is exactly 2 squadrons online here for Team 2. Actually, a little more than that, 25 now. It is a quarter of 100. That will probably wipe something off the map, just straight up. We'll just wipe it off the map. Maybe go after the artillery, maybe go after the satellites. The third one, of course, is online. Fourth one being built as we speak. Team 1 being very defensive. They are being a little bit aggressive in the southeastern corner, but that's mainly just to push back Team 2. Emissary coming in and taking out a shield on that parashield. I mean, it didn't take out the actual unit, but took out the shield capacity. The T3 artillery firing at a moving unit. I would not advise that just because it's really hard to hit stuff. but you're taking out some mass, so that's something. But I don't think that's really worth the time. But there are chickens inbound here from the west. Team 2's units from Battlefront have pushed in and actually broken through the defenses at least a little bit. All the lightning tanks are in retreat. That chicken at 600 hit points. Oh, one more shot. Oh, two more shots will kill off that chicken. The chicken now trying to run past this front line. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, unfortunately, here for Team 2. There's just enough defenses to just annoy that chicken. The chicken probably going after the emissaries here for Terrari. He's building a Colossus as we speak, probably most likely for defensive measures against some of those teleporting Cyberpunk commanders. Like, simple defense always wins. Makes me sad. Just chill and make Artie defend with half mass invested because it works easily. I mean, it's part of the game. Yeah, I kind of get his gripes a little bit about everyone builds artillery and then it's just sit there and wait kind of thing. I do get that, but I mean, it's part of the game, and sometimes it's 2 o'clock in the morning and your brain's not really working as much as it should. And well, this is going to be an interesting watch as I'm talking. Oh, hold on. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Slow it down a little bit more. Grab a literal. Grab, let's say, the middle one. Nope, not right. There we go. Grab the middle one. Type T to track. Go back to observer. And then go back to this mode. And then turn. And then we can watch the ASFs escorting the the bombers inbound. This is a ton of units inbound. Team 1 trying to move their ASFs to intercept. But they're going after that artillery. And ASF fight does occur. Trying to just blitz on those ASFs from Team 2, but the bombers have launched their payloads. There it goes. You can see the bombs releasing from their chutes. They'll take out, I think, at least one of the emissaries. Nope, they'll take out, I think, two of... Actually, they'll take out the second one, I believe. No, the second one's fine. All of those... all those gunships. All of those bombers are taken out. But Team 2 accomplished their goal. They took out the... Actually, did take out the second artillery being built. And there went the air grid here for Team 1's Terrari as well. He's probably annoyed about that as well. I don't blame him. But now the ASFs definitely reside with Team 1. The Team 2 spent that air reserve, and they spent it well. 4 satellites now online here. Enemy artillery destroyed, says literal. And explosions go on somewhere. Don't know where, but they sound like SACUs, so I'll leave it at that. And Crab being taken out by some Fat Boys and Percy's. That's never good. And there it goes on that front line to be scooped up for reclaim. Missile launchers are inbound. Probably going to target that Fat Boy, I would assume. And I don't know where they're going. They're kind of weaving and bobbing, weaving and whatnot. Yeah, I lost it, says Battlefront, because I was attacking. Would be good. Missiles are inbound. They definitely were going for the fatty that wasn't moving, and they don't hit anything. Let's see, anything else going on? Pretty interesting. Team 2 has made a lot of progress here on this western side, pushing back Pepe's. They've gained some territory, denying some mexes here for them. And another fight in the middle versus a lot of lightning tanks. Those, again, can target ground units, but aren't very good at it. They hit targets very well, but they don't do a lot of damage. You can see they do take out units. It just takes them a minute, you know. There are some advanced combatant preset commanders online. They'll take out a chicken. And those 2 chickens here for Team 1 will try to get out of dodge of that lightning storm. And all of those lightning tanks are being shoot to bits by Team 1. All that AA just gone in a flash. Tons of engineers for Team 1. A couple of them for Team 2 as well. 3 players on Team 1 having engineers right here. And Team 1 spam being employed to try to take out the defenses here for Team 1. But those AoE splashes on the Oblivion PD, they take out a couple of units at a time. Especially when they're grouped in like that. There they go. Oh. It's just hurting. All those units being used to try to just poke at that front line. Something about a 1700. No comment about that because I don't really know what it is. Awasaw Bomber online here for Team 2's Battlefront. And some Corsairs are inbound. I think they're going after the chickens. Chickens trying to dodge. There we go, if I can speak. But I don't think they're going to dodge, unfortunately. ASFs come in, take out a couple of those Corsairs. And the comm of Pepe's is still hanging out. He does have cloaking on board. Team 2 That is Team 1. Team 2 does know where, kind of knows where he is, but Pepe's isn't moving. You can try to dodge, but Pepe's, oh, there he goes. He gets taken out by the ground fire here from Team 2's Nightly. It's now a 4v5 in favor of Team 2. And the chicken's still coming in trying to ambush those grabs. And the Corsairs do assist in trying to take out that chicken. The Ion Storm falls back there. The second one gets killed there. And the gunships come in from Team 1 to try to deal with these experimentals. ASS from Team 2 coming to deal with the gunships from Team 1. And most of the focus is on those SACUs. Nice kill off from that lightning storm. Takes out one of them. Takes out the other two with that AoE explosion. Does suffer a lot of hit points on that megalith. And now Arima will take control of that western flank here for Team 1. Laser coming online here for Excited. Actually being built very quickly. Does he have a lot of eco for it is the question though. Doesn't have any more mass. Has not a lot of energy to spare, so it's still building, but it's taking a minute, but it's still building. It's the teleport that really just sucks up your power, though. And obviously you got to have power to build it, and then power to actually activate it. So it does take a toll on your resources. Book of Guns building a bunch of shields to defend his base against any sort of intruders, and now a Maybor is coming online. Does Team 2 know about it? Probably not. It was just built started a couple seconds ago. Yep. And teleporter has been started. Actually, Excited is building it. Don't see any text. Battlefront says stat face. Don't know why that's a stat face. Don't know what that's about. Yeah, still flying it over the top of Team 2. Where did that Awasa bomber go? Team 1 take it out? I don't... No, that's a... What is that? That's a crab. I don't see it. I don't see the bomber anywhere, so maybe it was taken out. No, it's right here. Yeah, it's back here. It was taken out here by Team 1. And now it's going to slow down a little bit. There is still fighting on the southeastern side, but not really going in one direction or the other. It is some progress here for Team 2 with 3 FAF boys online, but they're very slow to move. It does give a lot of time for Team 1 to readjust their defenses. Missiles inbound. FAF boys trying to move out of range or trying to move out of the trajectory. Does take out the shield for that one FAF boy. Second volley is inbound. No, yes, no. Doesn't look like it's inbound. And there is a monkey down here and another crab over there. The teleporter and the laser have been completed, so we just await his teleportation. Actually building another P-Gen because he just needs more power, and also building an Omni because it looks like maybe he didn't have one, or maybe he just wants another one. Oh, it looks like Team 1 doesn't even have one. It was over here, but looks like it was probably taken out. And artillery is online. Second one is being built as we speak. He wants to go for dual emissaries, and he wants it. The satellite is back online. The Duke also restarted as well. Team 2 doesn't really have plans for much, but the laser is inbound here from Excited. I'll slow that back down to 0. Team 1 PD being spammed up, going after the Pigeons, of course. Excited probably needs to get out of dodge. We'll kill off, I think, most of those engineers and those PD. Yep, there they go. And laser coming in. Team 1 bombers being spammed up. He needs to get out of there as quickly as he can. We'll take out a decent amount of the Pigeons here for Team 2's air player. Take out a couple of facilities. His hit points are falling very, very quickly. He's not even half, ready to go. And there he goes. Should have initiated transport immediately. Maybe didn't have the eco for it, but there goes another player here on Team 1. Now a 3v5 in favor of Team 2, but the Pigeons are lost here for Literal. Has his eco doing. Still positive at 10,000, but half of that air grid is down. Literal going to be annoyed about that, of course. But the goal was mostly accomplished, taking out all of the air producing facilities here for Team 2. There is one over here, but there's not really a lot of air grid. And reclaiming the Disruptor, probably going for Crab, like following it back into Crab, because Team 1 is pushing with their own SSUs and their own Crab, and Team 2 has lost a couple of chickens as well. Literal just control Ks, and Sizalon just controlling Ks as well, decides this game is over. Novak here says Pepe's. Oh, talking about taking out the Pigeons. There goes Literal in the water over there, and then Sizalon in his main base. and it is now a 3v3. Team 2's Knightley has held off the attack for a long time, but is actually pushing on the southern side. But I guess with the fall of the air grid, Team 2 saw the writing on the wall. I mean, there's still some left, but all the pigeons are just being wiped out by those lasers from the sky. Game-winning move, says Excited. Yeah, that's what that... yeah, no problem. That's what he... Yep. That is essentially what he's getting at. Our South Bomber over the top, going after that crab and T3 units. Another shield being built here to defend against it. There comes the bomb. Doesn't even pierce the shields. It takes two of them really to pierce T2. Actually, that's Tier 2 shields. So yeah, it takes two of them. And ASF's escorting that bomber around. Team 1 not really focused on air. Don't see a lot of ASFs here for Team 1. Well, there isn't really an air grid for Team 2, so that's also a thing. But how's that Maybor doing? It's in the yellow, so over 25% completed. And approaching 50%. Not super quick, but also not super slow. It's still going. I don't know if Team 1 will need it, but I mean, they do have a problem over here with some Fat Boys. But two emissaries are online, firing now at the Fat Boys. Again, would not advise targeting very fast, movable units. But, I mean, you're taking out a couple of the shields here for the Fat Boy. That's something. Or CPU, BNOE, or your CPU is crap. It says, oh, battle, maybe, no, BNOE. Don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Is that Bo, maybe? Maybe he meant Bo. I don't know what he's referring to. T1 Bomber's fast here, says Pepe's. Talking about probably those Fat Boys to the east. Emissary fire still raining in. Are they going to get a Fat Boy kill? I don't know. This Fat Boy is moving. Takes out a couple of engineers. And the Awasa Bomber is inbound. And Dreamer Lazy just control K. Actually, he doesn't control K. He probably dies to probably a pigeon or something. Or just control K's in regards to being killed off anyways. Pigeon. Oh, something blew up over here. Team 1 kills up Battlefront. He teleported in. He gets killed off. And our sub bomber comes in, tries to take out Terrari. He falls below roughly 300 hit points, and he's fine still. It's now a 3v1 in favor of Team 2. Oh, it looks like it was torpedo launches. That's what he was doing. But it looks like Terrari was kind of on the edge between the water and the land, so he could easily just jump out. 2K IQ moves, and the last player on Team 2 looks like either it was killed off or control K'd, one or the other, but it is now the end of the game. Team 1 won this game with 3 players remaining. And talking about MVPs or MUPs, I mean, I don't know if I would 100% agree with the game-winning play of Excited going in and taking out the air grid. I feel like Team 2 was kind of already on the back foot in that regard, but that definitely cemented the win for Team 2. It forced Team 2 players in Team 2 to control K. The western side was falling apart pretty much at the beginning of that onset. Team 2's Knightley was doing a great job pushing on this southeastern side. He probably would have wished he could gotten further in, but he was holding off. Team 1's Excited. The air grid here for Team 1 was nice. Went for the went for the Novaxes, of course, and was building a Mavor, because why not? The artillery here for Terrari getting a secondary air grid was very smart, especially with Team 2 gaining air control. Team 1 had it for a little bit, about the 20 or so minute mark, but Team 2 definitely had it for most of the game after that. So having those restorers definitely helped to assist. And they also got a kill, to be fair. So that's also a little notch here for Terrari. Arima held the west pretty well. Obviously, took over for Pepe's on that northwestern side after he was killed off. But I don't, again, at some of these matches, it's very easy to say this player had the most impactful presence on the game. And some games, it's a lot of players did a decent amount of things, so it's hard to give one player the award, and it's hard. I think the best, most visually impacting move of the game was the teleportation from Excited. It would have been better had he just initiated the teleportation back and then gotten out of there. That would have been like even a better move, of course, not dying, but he still took out half the air grid. The Novax just took out the rest of it, and then the game kind of fell apart from there for Team 2. But honestly, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments who you think deserves MVP or MUP. Again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and I will see all of you in the next one.